Hi, welcome to Living Well. Today we're doing an international series for Quick Bites. I'm Nancy Zawicki. I'm a registered dietitian with Northwestern Medicine, and we're here today to feature Italy, wonderful country. Italy has beautiful countryside, wonderful food, lots of culture, and the people are so friendly there. So we're going to make two recipes today. One is Italian gnocchi, and what I'm doing is I just sauteed some onions chopped up and added some garlic, and now I'm adding the gnocchi, and we're going to let it heat up a bit. I'm using a package of gnocchi, which is kind of nice. A lot of times I've just gone to like a little Italian deli and purchased frozen homemade gnocchi, but I didn't have that luxury today, so I'm using this potato gnocchi, and it's fine. So it comes in, we've got a couple different ones here, but it's really convenient. It's made of potato, and we're just going to put a little olive oil and get this heated up and get that cooking. And I'll add a little bit more garlic that's minced, and we'll let that cook a bit. And then we're going to add some cannellini beans and fresh spinach, and then tomatoes. So a little bit about Italy. I was there a couple years ago. We were in Rome and Venice, Amalfi Coast, Florence, and Tuscany. But there's so much more. That country's quite large, and there's so many wonderful places. But we had a wonderful experience. Italians are known for the love of their families. Their main meal is at the lunchtime, and they always, on Sundays, like to have the family gathering with extended family. What Italy is known for is their wine, and then cheese, and their baguette, and their pasta. And you can make some really simple, inexpensive meals with all of this. Sometimes, like if they've run out of money by the end of the month and they've created recipes on their own, they've taken leftover minestrone soup and added spinach and some pasta, and they call it that ribollita soup, which is delicious. So I made a bruschetta here. Well, while that's cooking, we'll focus on the bruschetta. I chose to use a multi-grain baguette, so you can find those. Just slice it up, and then I put it on a baking sheet at 400, and I brushed olive oil and baked these little baguettes. And then I made a mixture of fresh tomato, garlic, fresh basil, and I'm going to add a little balsamic vinegar. I like that little extra kick to it. And then we're just going to portion. It's a good summertime recipe too. Right now we have tomatoes coming in from the garden, and you start wondering, what am I going to use these for? So you can just top your tomatoes right onto this baguette here, and they're absolutely delicious. Something else I've done, I do this quite often, like if I'm making pasta, I love getting the vine cherry tomatoes, and I just put a little olive oil, fresh garlic, I keep the whole cloves, and then I just roast it like 400 degrees until they start getting kind of blistery, and they're going to pop. You know, you're going to just smash them down, and be careful because they do spurt a little, but they're so good. And then you can use whole grain pasta if you'd like, boil it up, and then top those ingredients onto your pasta. It's a very simple dish. So let's see how this is doing here. Something that I've learned about cooking pasta, you can follow the directions on the box, like it'll say 4 quarts of boiling water, add a little salt. When the water's boiling, you can add your pasta, and you usually cook it for 7 to 8 minutes. But through reading about this, you want it to be al dente. You might even try subtracting 2 minutes from this amount and test a piece of pasta. And when you bite into it, al dente means it has a little bite to it, and then you can just serve it right away. Another way to find out that if it's not done is when you take a bite of that piece of pasta, you might see a little white center, and if you see that, that means it needs a little bit longer. So you try it and you learn as you go how to cook it. But if you let it go too long in that boiling water, it becomes a real starchy mess and not very appealing. So you don't want it to get too overdone. And then you're supposed to save about a half a cup of the pasta water. So when you make your tomato sauce, your marinara, you might add a little half a cup of the starchy water, and it will help the sauce cling to the pasta as you eat it. And when you plate up a plate of pasta, you take your plate, put about half a cup of sauce on the plate, add your pasta, and then top it with more sauce. And that way you get it all mixed in real nice. All right, so we added the cannellini beans, which are adding some nice soluble fiber and protein. And now we're going to add the tomatoes, the San Marzano tomatoes, right in here. And I like to add a little extra tomatoes. I like my pasta a little saucier. Get that going, and then we'll add spinach. So nice to add all these greens. It looks like a lot, but it will cook down, and this way you're getting some nice vitamin K, and you're getting iron, and it's just add the nice colors. So I wanted to tell you a little bit too about pizza. Pizza, you think of with Italy, and back in the 1800s, pizza was just the crust. They sold it as street vendors, and people snacked on it. But there was a queen of Italy named Margherita, and so the chef decided to make her a pizza, but he wanted to fancy it up. So he did the crust. He wanted to do the flags of the country. So he added some tomato sauce, he added mozzarella cheese, and he added basil. And that got the name Margherita Pizza because it became one of her favorite foods. And from there, pizza's taken on its own thing. You know, we love it here in this country as well. Italians are known for purchasing a lot of fresh foods. They like to go to the open air markets. They do the majority of their grocery shopping from the markets. They like the seasonal fresh foods. They like to buy in season, and so like with summer, they'll do like green beans and radishes and cucumbers. And then in the winter, it's more artichokes and broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, which is a lot of our cruciferous vegetables. So it's really neat to see that because we as dietitians, that's what we like to promote, is using fresh foods and getting away from the processed. And you know, Italy is right along the Mediterranean Sea, and so this is where the Mediterranean diet kind of got its name, and I think a lot of it is the fresh foods, the olive oil, the red wine, and trying to use whole grains as well. So when we were out in Italy, I was kind of like trying to visualize the Mediterranean diet while we're there. And so I chose to eat a lot of like the minestrone soup because I liked all the vegetables in there. And also eating out every night, I didn't want to go home with an extra 10 pounds. So I was being really careful with what I eat. But Italy, the word means bel paese. It means beautiful country. And just throughout the whole countryside, it just changes. So you see sunflower fields. You see poppies all over the place. Beautiful red fields of poppies. It's just lovely. And I have a few pictures to share. You're like, oh boy, it's going to take me, be here all night. But this is the Mediterranean Sea in Amalfi Coast, and you can see the gravelly type coast, and then it was loaded with sea glass. I was in my glory. It comes off the cruise ships, and then it gets tumbled in the water and the sand and becomes pretty little pieces, all softened edges, and I like to keep a dish of this in my house. You know, I just think it's beautiful. The sun catches it. This is a picture of the Amalfi Coast, so you can see how it's built up on a mountain, and you get such tired legs from walking all around. Italians in this countryside, they are getting so much exercise from walking everywhere. This is a picture of pasta with just lemon, because lemons are very prevalent in Florence and Amalfi. We would see lemon trees all over the place, and they would cook their pasta and serve it with olive oil, lemon juice, basil, and some garlic as well. This was a beautiful caprese salad, just beautiful tomatoes with fresh mozzarella and basil. These are the lemon trees we would see. Thought they were so cool. And then one more, the poppy fields were beautiful. So our first day in Amalfi, I was tired from traveling, so I asked my husband to get me a coffee, and I thought it was going to come in like one of those cardboard takeaway cups. But when he brought it to me, they serve their coffee in a silver tea service. It was beautiful. Here's one last picture. This is how it arrived to me in this lovely. It just made you want to sit and enjoy and sit out on the balcony and view the Mediterranean Sea. But it did make me realize, take time, to enjoy that cup of coffee as you start your day. So I wanted to show you the finished product. So this is the gnocchi with the tomato sauce. It's got mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese, and fresh basil. I would taste it, and if you feel it's a little bland for you, I like to add a little red pepper flakes just to give it a little more zip. But everyone's different. It's easier to add later than to add or try to take away. And then we're just going to top this, so see how the spinach is cooking down. I turned the heat off so it'll cook more down. But then we just top it with fresh mozzarella cheese and then some shaved Parmesan cheese as well. And this can be a dinner with some nice crusty bread, maybe a salad. And I know that red wine they have that with their meal quite often as well. So I hope that you get a chance at some point to go to Italy. I'd love to go back, but for now, since we can't really travel, we wanted to bring it to you. So thank you so much, and I hope you get to try these recipes.